Hello, team. This is David Barnett, and this is a quick follow up to our conversation from yesterday. There are a few additional topics that I wanted to address, and one or two topics that were brought up during our meeting yesterday that I think needs just a little bit more conversation. Um, First of all, on the DAT, um, hopefully some of you will be working on that pretty diligently starting now. I went into the DAT and did some work on Standard 1.1 and leadership. And so you can see here, let me go one additional slide because it makes it a little bit easier to see. The Standard 1.1, the system commits to a purpose statement that defines beliefs about teaching, learning, including the expectations for learners. And so I went into the various pieces of evidence that they have, or at least those pieces of evidence that are written in English, and found a number of documents that were applicable, and I have put them in the various I3 rubric levels: engagement, implementation, results, sustainability, and embeddedness. But again, these levels are not nearly as important as getting the actual data involved or written down. So let me point out just two or three things that I've included here. Notice under implementation, I found a Parents Council Committee handbook where and this statements were taken directly from the handbook, and it says the PCC consists of 14 members of parents. Each one of them represents certain teaching level to enable the board of representing the community of parents to some extent in a fair way. And then the PCC will work in parallel with the school administration to elevate the school level and achieve the desired educational objectives for students. So you can see that this is a real honest effort, I think, for the organization to involve the parents by setting up this parent council committee. And then under results, I have advanced ed because that's the survey that they used. This was in 2020. Was called the Advanced Ed Culture and Climate Parent Survey. And so they got feedback from 378 parents, and they looked at some the strengths that the parents identified, and they looked at areas of concern. And so they did some analysis of the results, and then perhaps implemented some strategies. Now, here is under sustainability. They've provided almost 1,200 Elliott observations. Now, remember, this is their data, their Elliott observations, which is important, and it should be consistent because no doubt the training that they have provided was consistent throughout their particular organization. And they noted areas of the average areas in each of the learning environments, and the highest level was in well-managed learning environment for an average of 3.58, and the lowest was in digital environment. And then they did something which I thought was pretty interesting, and that's they provided some support and some dialogue for those people reading the report of differentiation. They noted that learning environment A1 was in need of some additional support, and so they provided some data or some evidence, some research related to differentiation, what it is, some misconceptions that perhaps would provide some support. And then they gave some examples of how differentiation would actually be implemented in the classroom setting. And so I thought that was very good. And I also noted, if you see here in the red, this evidence is also applicable to Standard 3.1 under professional learning because it is about training teachers for differentiation. And so you might remember that yesterday I said that some pieces of evidence would relate to more than one particular standard. So I wanted to provide you a list of, or an example of that. And then they have something, the learner's profile. I think that is probably should be spelled learners, Learners. And what this is a comprehensive list of skills that the people or the students who attend their schools should acquire. And it goes from critical thinking to creative. See that I've misspelled the word creative there. Transfer skills, organization skills, affective, reflective, information literacy, media literacy, collaboration, and communication skills. And so, again, it's a really comprehensive list of things that students, once these students have experienced the learning environment as IBN Roshd, then they should acquire these particular skills. It was a rather impressive list of skills, but I didn't see any data that showed rankings for or ratings for students on the acquisition. And so this begs the question of, or is an example of a question that is in need of follow-up. If you remember yesterday, Elam asked the question, will we have questions that we should ask of when we do the focus interviews? And the answer is yes, and I'm going to show you those here in just a minute. But also, this is a perfect example of a question that you would not find in the pre-canned list of questions, but is one that I think is pretty important. So we have this really nice list of skills that we expect of students, or the organization does, but what have they done with this list of skills, and how are they measuring student acquisition of those skills? This is just a blown up version of what you just saw so that you can see a little bit clearer. So where I say here, this evidence is applicable to standard 3.1, and then down here I say, that there was no data provided that reflects the learner's acquisition of these skills, and so this would be an important follow-up question. So Elam here is a copy of the first listing of those questions. I'm going to add these questions to the workspace, and I will also be sending these to you. But you can see there are some pre-canned questions that will allow us to gather information from our groups that we're interviewing. This happens to be for the governing body members, and you can see the particular questions that are pre-canned or prepared here already. And again, these are good questions, are linked to the standards, but I would also suggest to you that you will have a number of questions generated as a result of your evidence, review of the evidence. And finally, I want to spend just a few minutes reflecting on the goals. To look at this holistically. At the end of the day, how will we know that we have been successful as a team? Well, first of all, it is our responsibility to assist the organization to identify areas of strength and also areas of growth. And we do that through a structured process. And we always, always, always rely on the standards. The standards are called the standards for a reason. We may have other pieces of evidence that we know just because of our particular role, professional role, but this is a Cognia external review, and these standards that have been identified and developed through years and years of research through Cognia will be the parameters that we use in order to make evaluative judgments regarding the school's or the organization's achievement. Second, of course, is to assist the organization in enhancing learner achievement in the continuous improvement process. Continuous improvement is something that I want you to keep in mind, keep at the tip of your tongue, at the back of your mind, and every place in between. Uh, there will be some things that we will see that they're doing, and we'll say, wow, this is really a great example that others should follow. And there probably will be a few things that will say, uh, perhaps if they looked at some other ideas that we could provide, then they could be used as leverage points for improvement. So again, our goal is to identify areas of strength and weakness, or areas of growth, and then ultimately to improve learner achievement and the continuous improvement process. Just some rules of engagement. These are really kind of housekeeping rules. Being on time is very, very important. The older I get, the more I realize how important time is. And I know that from time to time, there will be things that come up in your life that you maybe need to be a few minutes late. But out of respect for one another, let's try our very, very best to be on time. Um, there will be some comments made during the discussions that you will agree with 100%. And there may be some comments made during the discussion that you think, my thoughts are a little bit different than that. And that's okay. And in fact, I would hope that that would happen from time to time. And so during the discussion, when we're having a difference of opinion, Covey says, first seek to understand and then to be understood. And so first seek to think about the opinion or the idea or the information being expressed, and then present your idea in a way that others might be able to understand. Um, Now, this won't happen nearly as much in an online setting as it would if we were there face to face, but it's very tempting for teachers and principals and the organization personnel to say, how are we doing? Tell us how we're doing. Uh, if you get that kind of question, uh, have a prepared answer already in place, and your prepared answer should not be some sort of evaluative answer like, oh, you're doing great, everything seems to be in line. No, 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 no. Your prepared answer should be something along the lines, well, we're still gathering information, we're still gathering data, and then a comprehensive report will be presented to the leadership at a later date. Uh, and refrain from sharing what's being done in your school or your district or your organization. In this group, there's well over 100 years of experience, and it's very tempting to say, well, in our school, when we were presented with this problem, this is what we did. That's well and good, but at this point, we don't have time to have that discussion. Maybe when everything is said and done and the report is finished, then we could meet to do that. But please, during our discussion, let's keep the focus on IBN, Roshd, and what they're doing in regard and in alignment with the particular standards that we're using. Also, of course, demonstrate professionalism at all times. This is very, very critical. Whatever we say, we're representative of the team, but also Cognia. And keep in mind that the personnel will be a little bit uptight. And each of us has been on the receiving end of the accreditation. And so remember how that is. And so let's try to help these people understand that we are professionals, we are their colleagues, and that is not a gotcha process. If there are process questions, let Dr. Kim or me know, and we will resolve those. And we will, either Dr. Kim or I will provide a response to the appropriate personnel. Also, maintain the integrity of the process by keeping the findings and team discussions confidential. That includes both before, during, and after the process. Let me say that again. That includes both before, during, and after the process. Um, each of us live in different areas and in different have different kinds of experiences on a daily basis. And many people will know that you are involved in review, external review. And however, it is not your responsibility. In fact, it's not even your right to share with anyone outside the team what is going on in related to this particular review. And so please be respectful of the process and be respectful of our colleagues with IBN Roshd, because we would ask a team who is visiting your place to do exactly the same. And so, to accomplish our task, we work collaboratively. We provide honest reflection, not opinion. Okay. If you say, I think, why do you think that? If you say, I believe, or it seems to me, why do you believe, or why does it seem to you? Have evidence to support what you're saying, all right? We always, always, always go back to the standards. The standards are solid. The standards are the yardstick or the metric that we use in everything. This is not a matter of opinion. This is a matter of fact. And so when we are writing the report, when we're gathering the themes, it is extremely important that we use facts to support our findings. Recognize the actions taken by the organization. As you have been looking at the evidence, you have hopefully been impressed with many of the things that they've done, and maybe have had some questions about some of the things that they've done. But our report will reflect the things that the organization has accomplished and then yet to accomplish. And finally, we will identify some meaningful themes that provide research-based data to energize the stakeholders as they implement the improvement process. And this is really the impetus. This is really the foundation upon which our work then takes on life. If we provided a report that was somewhat mundane and only reflected what is, then it would be an accurate report, but it would not allow them to take the next steps. And so we will provide a report that shows what is, but we will also include some themes for them to consider as leverage points in their continuous improvement process. Finally, I have a slide here, and I'm going to send this document out to each of you. One of the things, this is a kind of a tip for someone who has served on multiple accreditation visits. And, you know, we have so many links, especially in this day and age of virtual reviews. We have so many links, and I think, oh, where is that link? Where is that link? And so what I'm doing is trying to provide you with one document that has all the links that you'll need. I'm not sure that this has everything that you need at this point, especially when we go to the schools, but right now it's a pretty comprehensive list of links. And so please share this or save this, put it on your desktop so that it will be easy to find, because unless you're different than I am, and maybe you can remember every place that you file every document, and every place where every link is found. Here is a list of links that you will find to be helpful. So, team, let me encourage you to please spend some hours reviewing the evidence, adding those things into the DAT as I have done. Don't forget to log in to the workspace about a half an hour. I said 15 minutes before, but just 15, 20, 25 minutes. We won't need a long time, but just in case there are some questions, let's make sure that we are able to log in before the team. I'm sorry, before the IBN Roshd personnel get involved. And of course, you know how to get in touch with me. I'm excited by the professional level of this team. I'm excited by the professional level of the organization itself, and look forward to spending the next few days with each of you.